All right, I'm going to call this my basics 2. We're going to kind of pick it up where we left off last time. So if you don't have a blank area, you can always go to new and just this web large, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You know, you can choose resolution and RGB or CMYK, but RGB would be for like web, and that's what we're doing right now. So we'll go with that. All right, so let's draw something. Let's draw a sun. So we're going to start with a star. So this would be right here. There's the star tool. And as what you're going to do is you're going to click and drag, and it makes a star, but don't let go because we want a sun, and this is a star. So I'm going to press up, and as you do that, it's going to create more and more points. All right, so that looks fine. I'm just going to make it a little bigger. Or what you could do is click once, and it will ask you how size you would like it. So there's the outside and inside, and then you can choose the radius points. Another thing you could do is click and drag, and then hold down its control, and you can like change the size that way as well to get the amount of pointiness that you're going for. But the one we had to start with is just fine. So I have this. And now let's make a circle, ellipse tool, and I'm going to make it almost as big. I'm going to hold down Shift as I do it, and I'm going to make it almost as big. Okay, so there we are. Now I want to make sure it's aligned though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag over both of them, and you can see the other star behind it. But I'm going to click and drag on both of them. I'm going to go to Window, and there's this Align tab. All right, so you have this alignment tool here. And right here, it allows you to horizontally align and vertically align. And now I know it's perfectly centered together. All right, so make sure it's perfect like that. And then I'm going to highlight both of these. Okay. And what I want to do is use the Pathfinder. So you got to go down here, and there's Pathfinder, and it brings up this menu right here. And what I want to do is I want to make it look like I have rays coming off the edges. So I'm going to choose. You can try all these, like minus front. That's the one it happens to be, but you can click these and see the different things it does. But we're going to do minus front, okay? And and if it doesn't work, try the other ones out. Then I'm like, oh, well, my circle's gone. So let's draw another ellipse. And again, I want it a little bit smaller, okay? And again, I can use my selection tool to grab both of them. Or really, if it's only 2 things on the page, I can do Control A, and it grabs everything. And then I can do my a line right here and do it vertically and horizontally, and there we go. Now it's a little too large, so I'm going to hold down Control and size it down, and if I want to do it sizing it down from the center, I can do Shift and Alt and make it smaller, and I want to go something like that. Oh there we go. Oh, that's weird. Well, either way, I'll just highlight both again. Okay, there we go. And let's take this, and that looks okay, but like, of course, let's get some colors. So I'm actually going to right click on this right now after highlighting both and hit group so they're together. So that way if I click on one, it clicks on both of them. And we're going to color these. So let's do a fill color. Let's just do a nice sunny yellow for now and hit OK. And there it is. And maybe we should take the stroke off. So I can grab the stroke right here. And if you have the color panel, it comes up like this. And I could choose no color, or I can do it right here as well and hit no stroke. So that way it's just like that. And that looks all right. Let's get some clouds in here. So I'm going to grab the ellipse tool here, and there's the ellipse. And I'm going to make a bunch of circles and just kind of make a bunch of circles. I want just basically this lumpy thing, and then we can cut it down. Oops. And that looks okay. Sure. But I'm gonna show you how to cut them a little differently too. So I'm gonna highlight all of these, and you can see they're a bunch of circles. And I'm gonna right click, and I could group them, but I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna highlight all of them, go to Pathfinder again, and there's this one which is Unite, and it's gonna make it all one. So it gets rid of all those inner circles. Now it's just one piece, okay? And I could grab the direct select, for example, and I could go in here and adjust this to, you know, however I want. I could pull these little points out and whatnot. But I'm going to show you something a little different. So I'm going to make this gray because right now this doesn't make sense. So I'm just going to go down here, and you can even choose grays like this. We haven't really done this yet, but you know, you can, well, you know what? I don't want to do that yet. So you can also just double click on these two, and then you can choose as well. So let's make it gray, and I'm going to grab another tool. I'm going to grab the rectangle tool, and I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to just like cover up part of it like that. Okay. I'm going to make this a different color so you can actually see the difference. So here we are. Okay. So I'm going to have 2 shapes here. I got my cloud shape, and I got this rectangle in front of it. I'm going to highlight both of these now, and you can see the other shape there, and we're going to basically cut it in a spot. And so you can do that, and then if you go down here to minus back, that would do that, which is not what we want to do. Instead, we want to do minus front, and so I'm going to click this one instead, and I get this overall shape. Now, this is okay. It's kind of cartoony and stuff, and that's all right, but let's go ahead and take the stroke off. All right, so I'm going to go to click the stroke and then hit none. And then instead of this gray, let's actually double click it. Oops, actually I don't want to do that, I'm sorry. You can go over here to fill, and they have the gradient right here. So we're gonna do black and white gradient, and we're gonna change this as well. So let's bring up the gradient panel. So here is gradient, and let's move this over. So right now it's just light from one side, dark to the other. Okay, so let's change that to 90% so it's up and down. And it's like, well, light to dark, I don't know about that. It's pretty drastic. So let's change the white. So I'm going to click on the white once. And we don't want this white. You can also double click on it. We want a gray, like let's say this one. And I can click on that one too, double click it. And then let's choose just a little bit darker gray. So something like that. Click off it. I like that so much better, right? So let's bring this in front of our sun. So let's move our sun over a little bit, bring the cloud in. So something like that looks pretty good. And I could even take that one and Control C and Control V to copy it and paste it. And we could bring this one and maybe let's send this one, right click on it, arrange, send to back. And ooh, that doesn't look right. The sun wouldn't be in the middle. No, the sun should be in the back. You can also send backward, which is what I should have done. All right, and maybe we take this cloud though and make it a little bit shorter. So it just looks like a smaller cloud, maybe a little further away. And bring this one up. All right, that's pretty good. I like that. All right. So there you go. And you could do other things, like we could now add, let's say we want to make this a scene. So I'm going to grab the ellipse tool again, and I'm going to just drag and make it take up the whole background. All right, so let's move this down. Oops. Just a little more practice. I'm going to do Control minus to get out of it a little bit so I can back up a little bit. So I can kind of, there we are. And maybe this will be our grass or something like that. So in this gradient here, we could do, let's do a lighter green. Here we are. And for the bottom one, we could do like a dark green. All right. There we go. And I can move this around. Let's kind of move this over. All right. So you can kind of see what we're going with here. And lastly, let's just give it a nice blue sky. So I'm going to drag this and it's covering up everything. That doesn't work so good. Right click, arrange, send to back. All right, and of course, this gradient doesn't work either. So usually it's darker blue, let's say. Ooh, that's like a really not the best blue. And let's take this blue and go lighter. All right, there we go. And yeah, so if you want to change any of these directions for the gradients, you can just drop it down, and maybe 90 doesn't make sense, but negative 90, maybe that makes a little more sense. And yeah, so there we go. That's not bad. You can try drawing a house or a little flower on there or something else, but you know, basically gives you the idea of how to use shapes, how to use the Pathfinder tool, and how to use gradients. That was kind of the three big things I wanted to hit. So I would challenge you then to make your own scene, add something to this. Yeah, just go nuts. All right, that's it. Oh, and by the way, if you export this, you see how this box is around here? If you go to save this, you can save to bounding box, and it won't keep all the rest of this other stuff here, but we're gonna leave it there for now. So you can just save this as an Adobe Illustrator file if you want to edit it later, or if you'd like to save as, you can choose other formats, but maybe more importantly for this one, you're gonna do export, export as, or you can do save for web if you want. Let's do save for web. This is the legacy. This is the old way of doing it. All right, so this is what it looks like, and you can kind of zoom out. It's showing you that it's not going to save anything outside of it. Instead of a GIF, you could choose JPEG or PNG. I'm going to choose PNG 24, and then I would hit done, or save, sorry, and it would ask me where I want to save it. So I could say, you know, cloud and sun, something like that, and throw it on the desktop and save it, and then I would have that on my desktop. Okay, hope you enjoyed that, and good luck.